And guess what? Hello.
What?
Sorry for the delay because we are live. And I was hanging on to see if Tosh could get his. He's trying to get his good side tonight, and we've tried a number of times, but we still haven't found a good side. But anyway, it doesn't matter because we're here, we're live, and it's the Thursday night fully loaded brain hangout. Oh yeah, like a boss. So. What I'll do first of all, let's go through the panel. There are more to come. It's been an interesting start today, but let's go through it already. And let's start from my left to right, I think, this time. So let's start with Tosh. Would you like to say hello to everyone, Tosh?
Hello, my sputtering jumps. Excuse me. Marvellous to be back. Sorry about all of the disappearing act, but I think my camera fucked up the mic, or vice versa. Anyway, it blew up eventually, so I've got brand new, and it's still shit.
Brilliant. Thanks for that, Tosh. Now, new to the Brain Dump Hangout on a Thursday night, we've got Biker. Hello.
How do you do?
Do fine, thanks. It's good to have you along. Also, aka Matt. Depends whether or not you're friends with him at the time, I think. But anyway, it's good to have you here, buddy.
Thanks very much.
I always like fresh blood on the Hangout, so that's always good. Now, thanks for that, buddy. Let's go across to one of our regulars, and it's only Suffolk Andy.
Hello, my lovers.
All right, my lovers.
Hello, my lovers.
And there's a few of those, I bet, eh?
Oh, one or two at the past, mate.
Mr. Lover. Also in the panel tonight, we have Bobby from New York.
Hi, diddly ho, neighbors.
Oh my god.
It's all in the timing, Bobby, and that was good timing.
Awesome, thank you.
That was horrendous.
Excellent. I better just switch on Q&A, really, hadn't I? There we go, it's on now. So anyway, yeah, viewers, if you're watching and you're watching this on YouTube, best pop across to Google Plus, and there should be a link in the bottom left-hand side of this video to go there and ask questions if you want live to the panel, and you can ask them anything you like. Anything goes on a Thursday night. But preference is to do something with two wheels or a motorbike, but there we go. So next we need to move on to the standard feature of these Hangouts, and that is to ask the panel members if they've got any news or topics for tonight. And so let's go all the way back to Tosh, who seems to be rocking out right now, and ask Tosh if he's got any news or topics for tonight.
Oh, hell yeah. News. Taxed the bird. Went on the Blackbird today to work. My God, that bike's quick. It's quick. It's really quick. It's so quick. I nearly pooed myself. It was great. Great bike. Topics. Fuck all.
Okay, so the news is you nearly pooed yourself on your Blackbird, and new topics.
It was, I'll tell you what, it was so quick. 60 to 120, like that. Oh, wow.
Obviously that wasn't on a public road though, was it, Tosh?
Yeah. Yeah,
Not
I
on a test track. Yeah, you don't obviously do those sort of speeds on UK public roads, do we?
No, you must have been on the track day.
Yeah, exactly. Not as responsible riders such as ourselves. Obviously, we wouldn't do anything like breaking laws.
Doing kilometres an hour.
It was 120 kilometres an hour.
Okay, yeah, what's that, about 68? That's all right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine. Excellent. So I'm glad you nearly pooed yourself doing 68 miles an hour, Tosh. Thanks for that. And now let's go across to one of our new guests tonight, and that'll be Biker. And I just wondered if you've got any news or topics for the viewers tonight, buddy.
No topics I can think of, but news as of uploading a video the last couple of days. My channel and my Facebook page has just gone absolutely mad in this last week or so. I was struggling around the 60-70 subscribers mark, and I'm now running about 130. It's just
bloody.
No.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, congratulations, buddy. You're absolutely famous. Have you unloaded a near-miss video or something?
No, I think, to be honest, it's mainly thanks to Mr. Cod's motovlogger from Australia. He shared my page and things around all these friends, and there's just been a huge influx of people coming in. And one of the things I did before a video on views from a blood bike, and Blood Bike Leinster shared that on Twitter, That's over 500 views now. So yeah, altogether a good week.
Fantastic.
The reason why you're so popular is because you've been on here.
Exactly.
Oh, that's brilliant. It's nice when you start getting some attention, isn't it? And excellent news there, buddy. Superb. And hopefully you'll get some more subscribers from this hangout too, and that'd be awesome.
Exactly.
So obviously feel free to put a channel link in the description of this video tonight if you want, Biker. You're more than welcome.
Will do. Cheers.
Let the viewers know who you are and where you came from. So superb and good news. Excellent. Right, let's go across now then to Sir Andy. And have you got any news on topics for tonight?
Well, I've got to say that one of the big milestones, I think, in any vlogger's startup is to get your first 100. And well done, mate. I think everybody, once you hit that 100 mark, that is like, I'm going somewhere, you know? And that gives you a little bit of a boost to carry on. I always remember my first 100, I was over the moon. So, yeah, I think the 100 mark is the best mark out of them all, I think, actually. Yeah, definitely.
Did have a look on Social Blade as well, where you can put in the YouTube and find out how much you would earn. 93p in the last 28 days.
Well, you done well. You done well.
Almost a gallon of fuel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no, it's a litre. What am I on about? Oh, my show me age.
Yeah, a litre.
It's a litre.
Yeah, as for topics, I think we sort of brushed over this the other week. I taxed my bike the other week, and I realised that the government had put an extra £1 on bikes over 400 cc's. I don't know if you think that's fair or not. An extra £1. Where that's come from, I don't know.
44 bloody quid for 6 weeks I paid.
Yeah.
Right, well, I'm going to have to rebalance the books now then.
Well,
Yeah, but if you think about it, Andy, all the bikes in the country over 400 cc's at £1 a time, that's a nice little bit of money.
Tell me about it, mate. We did that video, didn't we, at me and Mrs. B about the fuel tax and everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it all adds up. It certainly does. Okay, road tax. God damn it. So maybe we'll bring that one up tonight. So thank you for that for a topic. Well, we're short on topics tonight. I'll have to start thinking at this rate. But thanks for that, Andy. And Bobby, news and topics.
As far as news, it's actually been kind of decent over here, and I've gotten out, done some nice riding, and made a few really good videos, which I'm currently working on editing and getting ready to post up there. Hopefully before next week, since the snow has stopped, the rain will start. We are supposed to be getting like awful, horrible torrential rain all week long. So yeah, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Something's going to mess up your day. But hey, at least I'm riding now. As far as topics, I am wondering if there is anything that we as bikers, as two-wheeled warriors, can do to kick the ass of insurance companies and tell them, look, you got to stop overcharging us because we've got 2 wheels less than everybody else. Why are we paying more?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, we do suffer from insurance sometimes. I think more about... I'll tell you what I'll do, Bobby, is I'll tack onto that topic insurance and modifications.
Open worms everywhere.
It's like, I'm going to make my bike safer. Oh, no, that's going to cost you a fortune in fucking insurance. Well, hey, hang on a minute, I'm making this safer. But anyway, we'll get to that one in a minute. All right, Bobby, that's brilliant. So thanks for those. Now, that only leaves me to come up with some news and topics. News. Do I have any news? Not really. I suppose I could share one bit of news with you, but hopefully you're not eating your dinner at the moment.
Sorry.
Basically, I've not been riding recently because I had a small operation to prevent me having any more kids. So,
you're a Jaffa.
So a little bit sore at the moment.
I heard you had a penis reducement because it was just 12 inches was just too big.
Well, I don't know where you got 12 inches from, mate, but anyway, yeah.
That's what they've reduced it to, isn't it?
Well, that's what they took off, yeah. But no, in all seriousness, yeah. So it's just still a little bit sore at the moment. So I'm not doing anything mad in terms of riding bikes at the moment. So there's a bit of news for you. Obviously, I mentioned last week that Mrs. B's fast track test is coming up soon. Her DAS, direct access. So that'll be all good as well. Maybe she'll pop in later. You never know. And as far as topics go. Topics. Don't really have one at the moment. So I'll let the viewers maybe ask some questions or some topics that they'd like to discuss tonight, and we'll pick up on those.
I think we've got one up there already, Andy.
Yeah, let's go. That's the very next place I was going, Andy, and thank you for the link to that as well. So there we go. Let's go to 08 Ride. Hi, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
He was here last week, if I remember rightly, and had some really great input. So let's go through this question and see what we've got. He says, "Hey all, I'm back again. Even tuned in to you instead of carrying on watching the election debate. Oh, thanks. I'm not sure how to take that." But he says, topic, is anyone involved in Riders for Health or volunteers in any other motorbike charity organisation? And why did you choose that specific charity? Well, that's a very good question. And I think one of our most recent Hangout members might have some input into that. So I'm going to go to him first, and that would be T. Baker.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I'm a rider for Blood Bikes, local one, White Knights, covering West, North and South Yorkshire, but there's Blood Bikes all up and down the country. Why I joined that one? I don't know really, it's just something that I like the look of, and it's one of them things that I think if you're out on your bike, middle of the night, sod all else on the road, it's quite freeing, and there's no other opportunity really for me to get out there in the middle of the night for any specific reason rather than just running petrol off, so it gives me a good thing on that. But no, I suppose it's just that giving back to communities and things like that, and I enjoy biking, so yeah, combine the two.
There we go. And would you like to explain to 08 Ride what Blood Bikes is all about?
Yes, basically the NHS have their own system where Monday to Friday, 7 morning till 7 at night, they have their own transport system where they can move blood, files, samples, medicines, all things like that between hospitals and varying places. But after 7 o'clock at night during the week and 24 hours at weekend, that stops. So hospitals would have to use couriers, taxis, things like that to move things around, which is where the Blood Bikes step in, where it'd be costing thousands of pounds a year to do taxis and things. Blood Bikes do it for free. It's all funded by donations.
That's absolutely superb. And I have to say as well, I looked into, and I've been looking into, seeing if I can get involved in Blood Bikes myself. But I'm still trying to sort it out. I mean, it's a bit difficult when you've got 2 little kids and everything else, and wife and things and a job. But I'm trying to edge it in somewhere. And if I can't do that, then I might pursue my safety campaign for bikers as well. But enough about me. What about Civic Andy? You got any input into that in terms of the charity type riding stuff? In terms of
Well, I'm always one of these people who will go on ride dates for charity anyway, where you put $5 in and stuff like that. I always do that. And like Biker, I have played around with the blood running in the past. It's a good organisation and it saves the NHS, you won't believe. I don't know if he's the same as what it was down here. We were all self-funded. We had to pay for our own petrol and everything else. At the time, and you had to use your own bike as well. You just got the bit to go on the back of your bike that you could put the box on and stuff like that. But yeah, so I do anything like that, and like I say, any charity, I'm up there, and like everybody else, if we didn't put this money in, not just bikers, I mean the whole country, this government would never be able to afford anything. There'd be nothing out there. Most of it is done by charity anyway.
Yeah, I mean, from our perspective for the group I know there are some groups that you do use your own bike, and say you'll give your box on the back. I'm in one of the groups that you do actually have their own bikes, basically ex-police, fully marked up, all reflective, and looking a bit
down here they've
like
only
that,
got
basically.
down here they've only got a couple of three, and you have to be a advanced rider to ride one.
Yes.
They won't let you ride one.
No,
Unless you're an
those
advanced rider.
over 30 and advanced.
Yeah.
So yeah, qualify on both of those, thankfully,
Yeah.
by some way in relation to the age.
Yeah. I actually, well, I don't qualify on the advanced rider thing. Now maybe that's something I should do this year. It'll be interesting, I think, me doing the advanced rider test. But let's go to Bobby. What happens in New York, Bobby, or basically in the US in general? Oh, there we go. That's right. Go on, Bobby. You can speak.
You can speak, Bobby.
Silence in the sticker.
No, I am currently riding with Bikers Against Child Abuse. We just got our temp charter for the group that I'm starting in my area. They're an amazing group. Basically, their entire mission is to empower children, to help them, to be able to live in the world that they're, here's the deal. Children go through a lot, just in general, but there are so many children that have to deal with physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. And a lot of times they fall by the wayside. A lot of times they grow up feeling like there's nobody on their side, and a lot of times they don't grow up because of that same reason. Bikers Against Child Abuse, basically, they do everything within their power to make sure that these children are not alone. They don't grow up feeling alone. These are people who will go to court with these kids so that those kids can look out and see all these big, ugly, scary, angry bikers and say, you know what, they're on my side. Yeah, they'll stand outside hospital rooms and take shifts so that they're there 24 hours a day. They're available to these kids 24 hours a day. I got second phone. They can reach me anytime, and it's a beautiful thing. And part of the reason that I became a part of this was because when I saw a video on Facebook about this group existing, I found the closest chapter and immediately went there and said, we don't have this in my area. We got to do something about it. Because I grew up being one of those kids. I grew up being one of those kids that really could have used this group. And if I can help other kids not have to go through it, then I'm 1,000,000% in.
Well said, mate. Well said.
Yep. Brilliant, and a worthy cause. And obviously, having two kids of my own, and of course, we were all kids at one point, so an absolutely worthy cause as well. And that's brilliant. And I love anything that gives back to the community. So yeah, I mean, I hope that answers your question, right? But as you can see, the charity and support in the community is strong in this panel, and in bikers in general, I probably could say, especially more seasoned riders. I don't know, but it does seem to be the more seasoned riders, but that doesn't, of course, mean that not all young riders are the same way inclined. So,
yeah, I saw a couple of photos from the Squire's Egg Run. I think it took place last weekend or earlier in the week, and again, hundreds of bikes turned up for that. So, just shows the strength of feeling from the biking community, really.
Yep.
Right. I think everyone can probably agree that all bikers are pretty much friendly. I mean, there's a difference between. I think you see these news clips, and it's going to lead me on to the next question as well. That was raised by who was it raised by? Susnet555, which I'm going to come to next. And there's a difference, I think, between bikers like the bikers that are in this room now, and then the bikers that you see in the news. And recently there was someone who's like, biker rides the wrong way up through traffic in Liverpool, which is near me. And as far as I'm concerned, that's not a biker. That was some chav or flipping whatever, pikey, whatever you want to call them, on a quad bike riding the wrong way through traffic. That's not a biker. That's just a thug that's managed to get hold of a bike. In this case, a quad. So there is a big difference, I think. So that needs to be said for a start. And so I think the seasoned, proper bikers that ride, you know, generally, I think we can safely say on two wheels in this hangout, and in general, really, we're two-wheeled riders wherever possible. We're all nice people, and we'll stop and we'll help anyone that was in any difficulty, or you know, get involved in these charities and so on. But then there are a different breed of bikers who, and I'll go to Sue's next question now. He says, "What's the panel's thoughts on the motorcyclist caught doing 148 miles an hour with a pillion in Essex this week?" Well, I haven't seen any video on it, but by the sounds of it, he wasn't acting responsibly, and I take it he was on a public road, and I take it the pillion didn't know that they were going to be doing that sort of thing as well. I have no idea what sort of protection they were riding or anything else. So, is anyone on the panel actually aware of that news story?
I haven't heard it, and I haven't seen it on Visor Day or anything like that, because they usually sort of clip up on there. So I haven't heard about that one yet. It hasn't been in my local paper.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about it either, but I'll tell you, anybody who's dumb enough to do that is dumb enough to get what's coming to them.
Yeah.
You're right.
So I think
the point is, we've got to say here, Andy, none of us bikers are taking over for the goodies, okay? We all do a little bit of the old twist of the throttle and the beans, as you say, but that sort of speed with a pillion, which is somebody else's life, if you want to do that on your own, do it. But if you want to do it with somebody else's life on the back of the bike, that's crazy, because they've got no chance. If anything happened and they get killed, you dispatch them to wherever, and you'd have to pay for that for the rest of your life if you survived.
Yep.
And they're also making it more difficult for responsible riders.
Because Bobby, you know yourself, you know, these papers and stories will jump on that straight away, put that up. Oh, well, unresponsible bikers, and they try and tar all of us with the same bloody brush, and that looks bad on the biking community as a whole. So they should realise, you know, when they're doing this sort of stuff, they're not just representing themselves as friggin' idiots; they're representing the rest of us.
That's true. That's true. And it's not even just the media. People in general will jump at the chance to say something negative, especially if it's about, you know, bikers. And they're not. Because last year, there was a motorcyclist that was, you know, killed in an accident not very, very far from me. And it was proven that it was not the motorcyclist's fault. They were, you know, being responsible and whatever, but they were hit by somebody who was not in a car. And, you know, this went up on social media, and all of a sudden the comments come out like, well, why would he ride a motorcycle anyway? It's, you know, it's not safe. And you're jumping on the guy who was hit, who died, whose fault it wasn't, whose fault it wasn't. Why is that even an issue? Why would you even go in that direction? And it's because you have so many people who mix themselves into this community who are not true bikers, who just have two wheels under their ass and figure that means that they have to, you know, breakneck speed everywhere they go and do stupid shit on public roads. And it's not the majority of the community. It's just a few jackasses who mess it up for all of us.
Yep.
It's true.
I think it's that thing of the difference between bikers and idiots who ride motorcycles.
Yes.
There's a fine line. There's a fine line.
Not saying which side I fall at the moment.
Most bikers have a little bit of idiot who rides a motorcycle in them. I do.
We all have.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely right to say that, you know, none of us, well, I can speak for myself, I've never been a goody two-shoes when it comes to riding a bike, but since I got past the age of about 22, I'm pretty sure that I've been responsible in what I do. It just may not be in in line with what the law states should be allowed on a particular road, for example. But as far as I'm concerned, it's about the conditions and everything else, as opposed to what a signpost may say, for example.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, thoughts on someone? I mean, I'd have to see the video to understand the full context of it all. But it sounds to me that that person probably wasn't being responsible. And in Essex, I'm not sure of many roads where it's straight enough and safe enough to do that sort of speed, especially with a pillion on the back. So I'm guessing it wasn't a good thing. So yeah, and there was some more comments on that as well. It would help, of course, if we'd seen the video. Chaos Theory also mentions that 148 miles an hour of a pillion is the chap. The chap is a tit, but there have been faster retards doing the same thing. I'm sure there are. I mean, one of the things that that's worth mentioning, if you've got a fairly decent-sized motorcycle, 148 miles an hour, it may sound like a lot, but in actual fact, you're talking somewhere in the region of about 10 seconds for the average large motorcycle to get up to that sort of speed, and probably another 10 seconds to come back down to the same sort of speed. So you're talking about a moment of 20 seconds. And I don't know about everyone else in the panel, but when it comes to speed, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, I won't say any more on it at the moment, but I mean, let's go to Bobby to start with. Bobby, in terms of, you know, when you're riding a bike, when you think of speed, do you think it's all about the speed, or is it something else that gives you the thrill?
I like a little bit of the speed. I love leaning into the turns. Leaning into the turns is 99% of the thrill for me. When it comes to public roads, however, all that shit goes out the window. I'm going to where I'm going, and I'm going to enjoy it for being on two wheels and part of the environment. Now, if I get into, you know, a nice closed-off area where there's no traffic, you know, and there's no chance of me taking anybody else out or somebody else taking me out, yeah, I'm gonna twist that sucker. I mean, I'm going. That's it. You know, I enjoy it, but it's the lean. I love the lean. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can only lean that eagle over. Sorry, you can only lean that Indian over so far, can't you?
I gotta tell you though, I can get that Indian over a lot farther than you might think.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking way down. That thing is built so wonderfully, and like I've always said, I love Harleys. I've never been able to lean a Harley as far as I've been able to lean that Indian, and damn, it feels good.
I bet it does.
I'd love to have a go at that, you know.
You have to live across to New York, Tosh.
Yeah. I'd love to do it though, you know, on something that expensive.
Now Bobby's getting worried.
I think he's going to be knocked on the door in a week's time, and Tosh is going to be there with his little crash helmet in his hand. Hello, Bobby!
Hi, Bob.
Yeah, I think that's going to somewhere else. Where's that?
There's a lot of love in the room, that's all I can say.
Yeah. It looks like Susanette's put excuse me, a link up. Yeah, it looks like it. So yeah, I'll have a little look at that as we carry on. But in terms, something handy for you, speed. What's it for you in terms of biking?
I can keep into the limits most of the time, even at my age. But there's always a time where I can't, and sometimes I can make that speed, what you got up there, look like a choir boy. I do love very, very high speed, but that's not all the time now. When I was younger, I used to ride like a fucking bat out of hell. But now I've got older, I actually thought about it today, actually. I thought I'm a little bit more cautious now, you know, I've got a bit older, but there's still times when I have to twist that throttle to its friggin' maximum, you know. And as you know, I've got quite a powerful bike, and it goes like fucking shit. But saying that, I still like the old twisties, and I like, if you know, you always remember. How can I put this? About a couple of 3 years ago, I was up in the Lake District, and we went through these roads, and there was one corner that I went round with the missus on the back, and I hit that corner perfect. And I've never forgot it, and that's years ago. And I always think about that one corner. The thing I got out of it when we came round, I just felt, wow, that was unbelievable. And I still get that even today. So I like the twisties, and I do have to pull the throttle back, but I wouldn't do it on, like Bobby said, I wouldn't do it on a road full of cars or anything like that. But I have pulled the throttle back to a mental speeds, and I mean mental. But not when there's cars about. If there's a big stretch of road for mile, you know, a couple of miles, and I can't see a car and it's straight, then I will gun it. Yeah, even at my age, I still love it.
You're still a spring chicken, Andy.
Yeah. Trouble is, I can't get down there because my belly won't go over the tank. But that's the only trouble. Can't get behind the screen so well now. No, I just love everything about bikes, mate. I just love the speed. I love the corner, and you know. But like I say, you know, you've got to remember where you are before you go daft, because you're talking about your life and other people's lives, even in cars, because you can kill somebody in the car with a bike. Yep. So you know, you've got to be responsible.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I just got a request from Kev, Big Kev, for a link to the hangout. It'd be awesome if you could join.
We also got from Stealth Rider.
And I don't have Stealth Rider on my Skype, I don't think, but if anyone wants to send me a link, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, and let's go to Biker. What do you think? What's biking and speed? What does it mean to you?
I think for me now, it's like Andy just said there. It's when you're on those roads, you're going around the twisties, and you just get that corner spot on. It doesn't matter how fast you've gone round the corner, but if you get it spot on, that's the good feeling. I mean, my previous bikes, I started off my biking career in a CBR 400. That was hilarious in the corners. You lost. You in the dust on the straights, everybody just clearing off in front of you. But I didn't. But you could literally, with that good, you could undertake them on the corners. They're just so good. But you didn't need the speed with that. I mean, my last bike now was an R6. I'm quite happy to say I've never got my knee down on that. Didn't need to. If you get the corners right, what's the point in all the showboating and having to get your knee down on corners and roundabouts and things like that? Now I'm an old fart. I've got an RT 1200, so speed isn't particularly the essence. But again,
you're still a boy, mate. You're still a boy.
But yeah, getting it right round the corners, I think, is where it's at for me, rather than outright speed.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, bike. I'll tell you what, Andy. Biking's like Bike was saying, these corners and whatever, and the showboating. You don't have to showboat to be good on a bike anyway. I've seen lots of people who can ride bikes absolutely fantastic, and they don't have to get the knee down, but they can ride a bike. It's like, if you think about it, if you're an Italian goalkeeper, everything has to be bloody flashy, you know? You don't have to be. You just have to be good.
Right.
Yep. Yep. Right, well, I was going to go to Toss, but he disappeared again. So I'll go to myself next on this, and I mentioned it. See, for me, everyone says about speed, and you know what brought this up was this guy doing 148 miles an hour on the motorway, which I've just looked at, and he's weaving inside and out of traffic on the motorway. But by the looks of it, he gets up to 148 once, and it happens in the space of about 4 or 5 seconds, as I predicted. And it looks like he's being chased by an undercover copper on a bike as well, from what I can tell from the video. But yeah, I mean, see, for me, speed isn't the thing. You know, I've ridden my bike on a particular road, not in this country, and I think I got to somewhere about 205 miles an hour, and I shit myself. in terms of just the thought process that goes through your head when things are flying past you that fast. It's not a fun thing, to be honest. It's a scary thing, and you know that if, you know, for example, a rabbit was to run across the road and you hit that at that speed, God knows what will happen. You know, and it was a closed-off road. There was no junctions onto it or anything else. The road was completely clear. But even still, things happen so fast. It's ridiculous. So for me, it's not so much speed. It's the, and Biker touched on it as well. I mean, getting the corners right, you know, on a twisty road, that's a fantastic feeling. You don't have to go fast for that. And also, it's the acceleration for me as well. I love that thrust that you can get. I mean, obviously on the higher bus, you get a lot of acceleration from it, and I really love that. And you know, most of the time I'm probably never breaking speed limits, but I still got a grin on my face because I'm either going around a corner really well, or you know, I'm accelerating like a rocket for a couple of seconds. And that's what I love about the biking side of things, and of course the fact that we can filter past all the traffic. But for me, it's not about speed, and I always get upset when people go on about speed because it's all relative, and if the conditions are right and there's no one else on the road, and it's a straight road and there's no risk to anybody, then, you know, if the speed limit says 70 miles an hour but there's no risk involved and it's you and yourself and you're on your own, then, you know, do what you want to do. You know, me personally, I might go above the speed limit. Why not? You know, the conditions allow it, it's dry, it's clear, you can see what's going on, there's no risk, you're not endangering anyone else's life, and so on. And likewise, where I get really stressed about is, you know, in the UK the speed limit is 70 miles an hour on motorways. But if it's icy and there's black ice on the road and it's foggy, that doesn't mean to say you can do 70 miles an hour. Yeah, you know, you get these people that will ride, or well, not necessarily ride unless you're actually crazy, but cagers will certainly try and still do the speed limit.
Oh yeah.
And the conditions don't allow it. And then for the conditions, and it's all about conditions as far as I'm concerned, so it's all a bit there for me. But of course we've got speed limits on the road because not everybody has common sense or enough road sense to be able to do the appropriate speed for the conditions, and that's why we have speed limits according to the government anyway. But there we go. So yeah, I looked at the video on this 148 mile an hour thing, and he's on the motorway. He does break the speed, he weaves inside the traffic way. He's not being an iconic rider by any sense. But I also think that the person that's filming it is on an undercover police bike and probably goaded him into it a little bit as well. But obviously the police wouldn't say that, would they?
Definitely agree with that.
Exactly. But he's definitely being followed by a bike, not a car. So it looks to me like he was being goaded slightly there. Something like entrapment, maybe. But anyway. So there we go, that was a good subject. Let's see if I've got any more relating to that in terms of the speed. Yeah, Suzenet, thanks for the link. There it is up there for anyone else that wants to watch it.
Where's the Q&A button?
Kev, I did send you a link. Let me know if you got it or not.
Yeah.
You should have it. If not, just let me know and I'll try a different way of getting you a link. And let's see what else we've got in here. Alright, okay. Suzenet follows up with that saying he's put the link up. Yeah, thank you for the mate. Have a look. And he got a 15-month ban for that.
Alright.
48. Harsh, maybe. I'm not sure about his weaving inside of out of traffic there, but you know, let's not go there now. Gazatron, hi Gazatron, he says, seen a few vids with bikers against child abuse, seen what they're all about, really good idea. There you go, Bobby.
They are awesome.
Yeah, I think bikers do a lot of charity. I mean, the amount of Christmas runs and, you know, Easter runs and bunny runs and everything else, it's all good. Yeah, I mean, has anyone ever heard of a car organisation that does that?
There's probably going to be some out there, Andy, I reckon.
There probably is.
Yeah, there probably is. I think, you know, when we have the big bike show down here, the Cobdock Bike Show, usually in November time, you know, and there's thousands and thousands, a big show and everything else. I think the proceeds of that, and somebody might tell me if I'm wrong, but I think the majority of the proceeds of that go to charity.
Right.
I might be wrong, but I always thought they did, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, it's all about the charity at the end of the day, or helping people, isn't it? Is the main thing. That's a common theme that you find. I think I'm going to sneeze in a minute. Um,
Right across the screen, Andy, so we can all get a bit.
no. I wouldn't do a thing like that. Martin BR5 says, speed don't mean a thing to me. It's just about the fun of being on two wheels and being able to sense things that you can't in a car, like smells, sights, etc. Yeah, like bloody cow feels when you go past them.
I'm riding Suffolk, you'll love it. It smells like a manure field all the time.
Although that can be quite handy when you can smell the diesel or the oil on the road.
Yeah, there is that.
Warning.
And then you think, oh, let's leave the front brake alone and just use the rear for a bit. Excellent. Now then, we've got a German participant here. I'm not even going to attempt to try and get that name correct. But I'm just going to call him Von Swats.
Swatchanata.
Thank you, Bobby.
Can you translate it as well while you're on?
And he says, hi there, I pay on a Kawasaki 750R 40 euros a year insurance here in Germany. 32 euros tax. 40 euros insurance? Wow, we're in the wrong country.
Yeah, I'll come over there, I think.
Yeah, but the key is the 32 euros tax.
Yeah,
So
but that's still a lot more than what we pay. Is it? How much is yours, Andy?
Mine's the same as yours. 80 quid. 81 quid now, is that something I pay it?
So,
Yeah, put another quid on.
I've just paid yesterday £44 for 6 months. Yes.
yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, so 81 for a year in the UK on a 1300 anyway, or at least a litre bike.
Yeah, but you can afford it. You've got a good job.
Right. Okay. Sorry, I'm slightly distracted trying to get Kev a link. I'll try and send one to his email on his Google. Let's try that.
our insurance over here is retarded because I pay $1,500 a year, which is 1,200 pounds.
Bloody hell.
Wow.
1,012 pounds. Sorry, 1,012 pounds. But
Did you just say you spend £1,000 a year on insurance?
yeah, well, I've got full coverage because new bike, big expensive bike. I'm covering everything.
Even your bollocks.
Damn right.
That's not now I'm conscious as well, so that's really good. I mean, that's pretty much half the price of what we pay in terms of insurance and tax in the UK, isn't it?
Well, definitely.
Probably a bit less than that, probably a third maybe of what we pay over here. My insurance for my bikes comes to about £130, and obviously the tax we already said was £81 for me anyway. So
Yeah, maybe I need to move to Germany. God. But then I'd have to change my name to Schwarzenegger. Oh wait, that's racist.
why is that racist?
Schwarzenegger. Okay.
Bobby.
Schwarze is a Yiddish word. It's kind of the in word for and of course, never mind.
Do you know what?
It as well.
Political correctness is not something I expect to find on this channel.
Oh, that's all right. It's not like I care anything about that stuff anyway. So.
Yeah, through the magic of Google Translate, Schwarzenegger is Black Snake.
There we go. So there you go. That makes sense.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, political correctness on this channel doesn't happen because none of us are extreme in any way, shape, or form in our view. So we're all quite accommodating and do lots for charity. So there we go. Now then, I just think I need to say hello to Stealthrider who's joined us. I've not had an opportunity to say hello yet, but we'd like to say hello to everyone, buddy.
Hey, what's going on? I agree with everything you said about speed and bikes and riding and the whole deal. Your whole spiel was exactly what I would have said.
Excellent, excellent, yeah. I mean, let's face it, you can only, even if your bike could do 200 miles an hour constantly, That would be boring, wouldn't it? Just doing 200 miles an hour in a straight line.
Oh, God, yeah.
But like you said, you run up on somebody's ass 3 times as fast as everybody else is going. So you have to keep that in mind too.
Very right there. You know, if, for example, this guy that was doing 148 miles an hour on the motorway, speed limit is 70 miles an hour in the UK. So essentially, he was basically riding up towards a parked car at 70 miles an hour. Not something you want to really try, is it?
Well, even a car that's doing the speed limit seems like it's parked when you're doing 3 times the speed limit.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that catches a lot of people out on bikes because they accelerate so quickly. Even on things like the motorway, you can tank it down the inside lane, and then you suddenly realise that the lorry or the truck or whatever in front of you is actually coming up on you a lot quicker than you think. And that's your brown trouser moment, and that's when you realise that your bike is very quick, and how good is the front brake then comes into mind.
And it brings into the other thing where you're actually riding invisible for a change, because nobody's going to see you coming that fast, that quick, and you're just not going to be seen. And then you're going to blame the car for pulling out in front of you or changing lanes when it never saw you to start with. And that's reality. It never saw you. It's not like an excuse.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you know, that's what you're saying about riding invisible. Slightly the different side of riding invisible, but if you are going to do that sort of speed, you've got to bear in mind that no car driver is going to know you're there. So you've taken a risk, and you need to assess that risk before you do anything like that. Now, I think we've just been joined by Big Kev.
Woohoo! G'day,
How you doing, buddy?
Oh, really good. Yourselves?
Excellent. Yeah. It's a long time no see, mate. Really, you're looking well.
I'm looking fat.
Join the club then, Kev.
Yes, Kev. Well fed.
I think they call it plump, mate. Plump.
I'm just big boned.
That's right.
Couple of pound overweight, that's all. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great to see you, mate. It's great to have you along.
Thanks, Sandy.
Hey, you're more than welcome. Oh, that's cool. And for the viewers that don't know, Big Kev is in Australia right now, and I'm guessing it's really early in the morning.
No, it's 5 to 8 in the morning here at the moment.
Yeah, that's early for me. So, Kev, I'm going to go to you for a moment. Kev, I'm going to go to you for a moment just to get any news and topics from you, buddy.
No, not really. All I know is it's starting to get a bit colder here. Got the heater on at the moment, but no, not really. Everything's pretty good.
What's the definition of colder? Is that just hitting below 30 Celsius?
No, actually, I live in quite a cold climate. I live in the highest town in Australia, and it snows here quite often.
Wow. Best of both worlds then. Bit of skiing, bit of sunshine.
Within half an hour on the bike, I can be another 15 degrees warmer if I want.
Wow, that seems like the place to be.
Yes, it is a good place to be because there's not much traffic, and it's got some great roads up here.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of your videos. You've got some nice twisties. And I do believe I saw a video of you scraping the peg.
Oh, yes, we did. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, well, actually, what you were talking about before about having to speed, you don't have to speed to have fun, you know, on a bike. Like, scraping the peg on that side's very rare for me. I normally scrape it on the other side. But you can actually have a lot of fun doing the speed limit if you've got the roads to do it.
Yep. Absolutely. I'll tell you what, you carry on talking amongst yourselves. I think Gazatron wants to join us. That would be awesome. So I'll try and sort him out. Skeggy Cruiser says he's also going to jump in a minute, so it's going to get fully loaded pretty soon. So I'll leave that topic from 08 Ride there. Oh, Grey Viper's popped in and said hi guys now as well. Hi Grey Viper. So I'll try and sort out Gazatron. Now then, topic-wise, what do we have? Right, okay. Guys, discuss, and I'll hand over to Civic Andy first. Discuss insurance, and then telling them about maybe improving your brakes and what they say to that, or changing the exhaust. Over to you, Civic Andy.
I know on my insurance, the company I use, I think you're allowed 5 alterations to your bike and you have to name them, and that doesn't make any difference to your insurance policy. But I did have, I was looking around for some quotes the other day, and I went to another couple of insurance companies, and I said, you know, I've got Apaprovic exhaust, you know, race, well, they are race cams, but I've graded that bit off. But I said I've got Apaprovic cams on, and they wouldn't even touch me. They said, no, we can't do that, you can't have the insurance. But this other company that I've been with will always let you have 5 alterations to your bike. Then you have to name them, then they decide what they're going to do or whatever. So I haven't got 5, so I've only got about 3 or 4, so I get through with it. But I just feel sorry for the younger guys, because, you know, I know with my sons, you know, the money they have to pay out on insurance to what I have to pay out, because I'm an old fart, like old Kev over there. And, well, you know what I mean, mate. We're lucky enough because age and experience gets us cheap insurance, basically, and the youngsters have to pay out all the other stuff, you know, and I just don't think that's fair, you know. They just rate them youngsters like there's no tomorrow, and because they can, and they do. That's what I think of that.
They don't have a choice, because they're young, they're inexperienced, and they're most likely to crash, so they're going to try to charge them as much as they can because they figure they're going to crash. Because being a new rider and all squirrely right out the gate, it's liable to happen.
Mm. Well, I just do feel sorry for them for the amount of money they actually charge them. I think they could charge them a little bit less, not quite as much as what they do. When I look at my son's insurance and I look at mine, so much difference, you know.
Yeah. Gazatron, I sent you a link. It should be in your Google Mail somewhere, either your social or your main inbox, but anyway, you should have a link there. And for anyone watching, whilst we're talking about joining these hangouts, I may have mentioned it before, but basically if you look for Mr. B for Busser, so Mr. B number 4 Busser at gmail.com. Look for that on Skype, add me, and then I can send you a link via Skype. It's a lot quicker process. And anyone's welcome. We don't have any sort of like exclusive clique or club. Everyone is welcome to these hangouts. Of course, if you're a complete dickhead, then we might not invite you back next time. But, you know, everyone is obviously welcome. So that's all
Damn,
good.
I was hoping to come back next week, but that's brilliant.
I was going to say,
You did fun. It's all good. All good.
what the hell you keep letting me? Man, seriously.
Yeah, Bobby, I know we keep letting you come back as well. It's crazy. So we're quite. I'm not that strict, really, to be honest. You have to be a right proper dickhead to not get invited back again.
See you later.
So, Subakandi, yeah, you talked about your insurance then, and you don't.
Yeah.
So much. I like the idea of five items.
Yeah.
What insurance company is that? Can I ask?
I think that's Bennett's, I think, I was with at the time.
Bennett.
Yeah,
And they say like
Bennett's.
any 5?
I don't know. I just said you've got 5, you know, things you can put down as, you know, you put on your bike.
Right. What happens after 5?
I have no idea. No idea.
That'll be a full stage 1 fuel injection system, a remap and an ECU, completely tuned. You could probably have, fucking hell, you could probably have 400 horsepower running out of my Bussa. I've only got 5 improvements.
What got me though was a couple of companies wouldn't insure me because I got Apaprovics on, and I thought that was bloody ridiculous, you know.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Some places don't want you to have an aftermarket pipe.
No.
But that's
think-
it makes louder safer.
No, they just don't like when you change any thing from stock to anything else. I mean, I would be screwed on my bike because I don't know how many. It would take me an hour to list everything that I've changed on my bike. I can't even. I tried to do a walk around of my bike, listing everything I did. I haven't gotten it right yet. I did like 5 takes and I give up.
Yeah, you're gonna have to write a list out and then read off the list as you walk around.
Exactly. I still forget like 2 or 3.
So I don't know, Bobby. Do you get that same issue in the US with insurance? That you know, if you say that your bike's been modified, they like get all funny with you.
A little bit, not as strictly as what I'm hearing from Suffolk Andy, but I will say, when it comes to insuring motorcycles, I'm not sure if it's all over or if it's here in New York. As long as it's a motorcycle, they're going to stick you with as much as they possibly can. You know, you're on 2 wheels, you're missing 2, so they're going to charge you up the ass, and I find it ridiculous. You know, I've done some minor modifications, nothing insane to my bike, and I'm actually afraid to tell them that I did some airbrushing on the bike because I don't know how much my insurance is going to go up because it's not the same color. As far as I know, though, they will consider some modifications for safety as just that. But it has to be something that is intensely proven. And, unless you have documentation from the company or from testing facilities saying, yes, well, this item that was added, is proven to increase safety this much, then how do you prove that? It doesn't make sense to me. I think we all just get together and kick the insurance company's ass and say, look, we're riding a smaller vehicle. We need to pay a little bit less. Especially if we're not out there trying to kill people on our bikes.
Trouble is, Bobby, when it comes to big business, they know they're out to make a profit, and if they can screw you for as much as they can, they bloody will, because that's their business to screw it out of you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know it's a little bit off topic, sort of, but I know that for young drivers in the UK, in terms of cars, people will buy a car that is worth probably something like £500 or £600, but the insurance will cost like £1,500, and it's like, hang on, how can you? But it's all about the chance that they might have an accident, and they say if you hit a Porsche, then they've got to pay up, so whatever. But at the end of the day, it is a bit crazy. Young riders do get penalised a lot. I think maybe there needs to be more opportunities, I think, to reduce the insurance, and one of those might be doing those advanced type tests. But for me personally, one of the things that I found most offensive is when I upgraded the brakes on my Hayabusa, and obviously put some steel lines in and all that, and sintered pads and all that good stuff. They said, well, hang on, that's going to cost you. I was like, what? I'm making it safer. Why are you charging me more? And it does frustrate me that if you try to make your vehicle safer, they'll go, oh, hang on a minute. We're going to charge you more. I don't get that bit.
Insurance company logic is probably on the case of you've upgraded your brakes so you can stop better, therefore you will ride faster to make use of them.
Oh, right.
Damn it, man! Stop making sense.
You actually have to do the opposite. You have to say what they don't know won't hurt them, and not tell them.
So, in other words, then, in order to achieve really cheap bike insurance for me, what I need to do is to ring them up and say, right, okay, what I've done is I've taken the brakes off. Because
replace the
that way,
brake pads with cheese.
Yeah, I've used some eco-friendly Greenpeace brake pads that Suffolk Andy's tried out, which basically don't work whatsoever.
You never let me off with that one, mate. I tell you. You never let me off with that. I tell you. I'm gonna fucking have you one day on this one, boy.
I've replaced my brake pads with grass.
Only the back. I wanted a softer back brake, that was all, but it didn't work.
But yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's like, oh yeah, I'm making my vehicle really unsafe now, but obviously that means I'll have to drive slower because it's so unsafe. So I'll get cheaper insurance. It's like which way you want to go really. But yeah, it is crazy. But I like the idea of like 5-3 things, and I think Bex88 popped in to say she's with Bennett's also, and if you have more than 5 mods to your bike, you have to give them a ring and tell them what else you've got. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay. I suppose it's good. It's good that you can do that, and I'll totally give a shout out to any insurance company that doesn't penalise riders for making their bikes safer, because that's the way it should be. Now, in Australia, we haven't covered Australia yet. Kevin, what about insurance for you out there, buddy? Modifications?
It's the same. Any modification, you've got to tell the insurance company. I got the pipes when I bought the Triumph, and I had to do the insurance straight away. So modification that you make. And if you have an accident before,
losing a bit of your sound there, Kev. I know you're in a remote area. Do you want to just try that last bit again?
Yeah, sorry, mate. I said the insurance is basically the same here as over. Any modification, you must tell insurance company, because if you do a modification and something happens to your bike, it may fall off them.
Alright, so they wouldn't pay
Basically,
out.
then what you're saying is that as long as you let the insurance company know about the modifications, then they're covered when it comes to claiming.
Yeah, but they're going to charge you more for the modifications.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to replace them. A lot of the U.S. companies will, if you got a lot of modifications that cost a lot of green, then you want to insure those too in case you total your bike, then you get paid for those too.
Yeah, the state is exactly the same what you had, and it wasn't. I think they cost me an extra $400, but it didn't up at all. Just lucky enough. But the premiums were low for me because I'm a remote or semi-remote. I don't have traffic lights where I'm light for numbers. So they take where you live, risk factor, and everything else.
I think they do here as well. I think they take the risk factor on like theft of your bikes. I think certain areas of Britain or UK are, where bikes are stolen more often, you sometimes have to pay a bit more if you live in that area. That's your postcode, where you live, and if there's a lot of bike theft in that area, they will put your policy up a bit.
A bit.
Yeah. Just to pop in and say that Gazatron, I've tried to send him a link via Google Plus, and he can't find it. He says, "Can Bobby send me the link on NBC, please?"
Alright, yep, I can do that.
Yeah. Remember, you have to do it via the +1 invite people icon for the link. Otherwise, it doesn't seem to work now, as soon as Google has changed it yet again. So we will try and get you in, Gazatron. Everyone is always welcome, as you know. Also, Who Am I UK #1 says, "Good evening, people."
Hello, Dave.
How you doing?
Hello, Mike.
And Grey Viper says he's only been on once. Well, you can always welcome to come in again, mate. You've not hit that zone that we were talking about before about being a complete idiot. So
You're bloody close though.
you're not blacklisted yet. Does anyone else want to say anything else along the lines of insurance, or shall we move on?
What did you say on mine? Similar sort of thing, I think, to what Stealth was saying, is that you can make modifications, and the question they ask is, does it improve the performance? If you answer no, they'll just say, yeah, whatever, get on with it, but if you have a crash, we're only going to put it back to standard.
Right.
Right now, I've got a question for you actually. But because you run on blood, do you have to tell insurance that you run on blood as well?
No, because we're using their bikes. We're one of the charities that has their own fleet of bikes, so it's all covered on their insurance.
Lucky bugger.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, whilst we're on the subject, I've got a question. Now, you've got the bike with all the livery.
Yes.
Do you have any blues and twos?
Yes.
Are you allowed
We
to
don't use them. It depends on groups. I think our policy on the group is really no. Effectively, you get 3 grades of call. You get a non-urgent, which is as long as you do it in your shift, you can do it. You get urgent, which is, you know, quick as you can on that shift. And then there's a third one, which is emergency. That's got to be specifically approved by a clinician to say it's life at stake. And only under those circumstances could we consider using blues and twos. However, we don't have exemptions. You can't exceed speed limits. You can't go through red lights that give way, anything like that. So, not a lot of point using them, to be honest. But they do give the kids something to play with at the fundraising events, which is good.
Yeah, and that's what I thought as well. I thought, you know, I've known blood bikes before get caught on a speed camera by being like 5 miles an hour above the limit, and they're like prosecuting. It's like, seriously, come on.
Yeah, at the moment we don't have the exemptions. Now it's something I'm trying to find out whether it's gone through or not. There was some changes going through Parliament to extend the definition of emergency vehicles with exemptions, and blood bikes were going to be in that. It was Section 19 of the Road Safety Act. It's going through Parliament, and we're thinking, is it going to go through before Parliament shuts down for summer? It has done. We don't know whether it's actually been put into statute yet.
April 6th,
Sorry?
I'm pretty sure it's April 6th, because
April 6th.
the whole transport industry is going crazy about it. I'm pretty sure it's April 6th. Yours comes in as well.
Right, because the big thing with that is to be able to use the exemptions, you've got to go on specific training courses for it. Now, if we did the full, I think it's like 2-3 week training course to do it, it's $3,000 per rider. That ain't going to happen.
Is that like the police approved emergency type riding?
Yeah, there's a specific course, and there's going to be approved trainers that can do that up and down the country. But yeah, it's going to be a specifically approved course to be able to use them. So unless they bring down the cost or something, it's not going to happen.
The thing is that what I don't understand is, right, when it comes to, I mean, obviously this is to support the NHS. The NHS is government funded, and so to allow a blood bike rider to ride in an emergency situation, you would think, wouldn't you, that they would fund that training?
Yes.
Because it would make sense.
It would. Yeah.
That they want to charge you £3,000
per rider. Yes.
That's a lot of money.
Get this. The best thing is the government at the moment are funding HGV people. If you're on the dole, you want to be a HGV driver. All funding.
Right.
And also, if you looked at a bit of news the other day, they're going to give 1,500 as a subsidy to buy your first electric bike. So if they've got money for that, they're going to give you 1,500 off your first electric bike. So if they got money for that, they got surely would be better than put it into something like a blood running or something like that.
I'm sorry, but there's no way that I would take that offer up on the electric bikes. We did that last week, and you know full well that you would spend at least £1,000 on the RAC picking you up because your battery's gone flat and it only does 50 miles.
I think they put £7.5 million aside for subsidies to people who want to buy an electric bike. I was reading it today on Voicedown.
Is that like a stupid subsidy?
Yeah, you get 1,500 as the price if you want it.
I'm really stupid. I want an electric bike. Well, here's £1,000.
Oh my god, government is retarded.
We already discussed that, didn't we? Was it like a range of 50 miles?
Yeah.
Well, that's the live wire. I think Harley got a great idea, but they're doing it all wrong. There's already electric bikes out there that are 3 times, 4 times, 10 times better. But at the Bramo has been around a lot longer than Harley's been even thinking about live wire. It's an electric bike, and it kicks ass. Would I ride an electric bike?
Nah.
But there are some out there. I think Harley needs to go back to the drawing board for a little while and then come out with something that can compete with what's already.
Make it sound like a Harley.
That would be.
That's the other thing. I know I'm going to go off on a tangent now, but oh my god, there's no noise. What's the? Ah, man, talk about riding invisible. Jesus.
I've seen them. They sound like that engine sound from like maybe 10, 15 miles away. They've got this whistling whine to them that's just kind of sad, really.
Right, we're just going to pause there. Now, right, I'm just going to say we've got 2 new people join. So, first of all, Grey Viper, stop playing about with your friggin' laptop or get a headset, because I can hear everything you're doing. So, try not to play about your keyboard whilst you're on there, buddy. He's looked surprised at the moment. Is he talking about me? Yes, he is. So, welcome along, Grey Viper. And also, Gazatron, he's calling us from Real Exchange.
Yes, I am. Yep.
Well, good, Gazatron, pleasure to have you along, buddy. It's a pleasure to have you along. First time in the hangout. I can't believe we're getting a delay to Gazatron and he's in an exchange.
BT, well known for their quality internet.
Oh, right, okay. Well, you didn't have to give out any names. It could have been anyone else. Other providers are available.
I'm fixing the Sky unit at the moment.
Oh, right, okay.
Just had to swap that out.
Oh, right. You better put it back in because you're getting a bit of a dodgy connection here. So, Gazatron, hello, welcome. Obviously, you get a little bit of a spot here now because it's the first time on the hangout. So, have you got any news and topics for us, buddy?
I think I've been on it before.
Might have been a while ago.
Might have been a while. I don't know. Can't remember. Not really any topics as such. One I did think about was if you could swap out a few rules or laws for the road, say autobahns, guys in America filtering, things like that. What would you swap?
Okay, well, that's good.
Middle lane hoggers for me will be taken to the side of the road and shot.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
I'm with you. I'm so with you.
I would change every time I pass the cop. Shouldn't be looking at me funny. Because they all look at me funny like I'm about to do something.
Well, you do ride looking like a black guy. I mean,
Yeah. I'm just trying to get out of their sight far enough where I can do something.
Oh man, I think for me, I would be with no clue where they're going in the fast lane, or in the passing lane. I shouldn't call it a fast lane because it's a passing lane.
Yeah.
That's
For me, I would say that I would make it mandatory for Great Viper. Get a headset, boy. Ah.
Got one on.
He's like, oh my god, Skeg is here as well now. But yeah, what I would say is that I think it should be mandatory that in all license tests, and there should be also a public awareness video to let people know that it is actually legal for bikers to filter and to make way for them when they're coming through the traffic.
In my experience, done, do they do?
Well, yeah, it depends where you live.
Skeggy?
What?
Skeggy?
What?
Holy shit, you're a good looking lad.
Yeah, Skeggy's. Hi, Skeggy. Thanks for joining. It looks like you've got a bit of helmet hair going on.
Almost have a funny shaped helmet.
Let's not go there.
No.
Get a new one. This one's got a split right in the end of it.
So,
here's one then. If the centre lane huggers are so annoying to everybody, why is it the Department of Transport put out advertisements on television about what to do if there's a bloody great X across the carriageway that you're on? Why are we not curing this problem in this country?
I just don't know what they're doing.
They have started putting. I've seen the notice boards that they stick up now. The LED ones. They actually say when red X lane is closed, or something. Something basic like that. They've been started putting them on the overheads.
Oh, so they're not supposed to all stay in the same lane till the last minute and then all try and squeeze into the last little bit then?
Yeah.
Didn't they do a survey and they asked so many thousand drivers about the X sign, what it meant, and half of them, or 3/4 of them, hadn't got a clue? They went, I don't know. I think there was a survey done on it and they hadn't got a clue what it meant.
I've actually got a bit of experience with this. I was on my Buell coming over the Pennines on the M62. Just as you get to the top, coming from Manchester, the traffic sort of slowed right down, pretty much to a stop. I was going down through the gears, and then the traffic left. I was in the lane 3 next to the centre divide, and went to accelerate off, but it found false neutral. Went to try and change gear, couldn't select a gear at all. Stranded there in the fast lane, so to speak, and all the cars were moving too fast, so I couldn't go across to the hard shoulder. Managed to phone the traffic warden officer people, and they actually put a red X on the lane that I was in. I managed to get over enough, but there were still loads of cars, even though the lane actually physically closed like 50 meters up the road. They were still going past, literally within half a meter of my bike. It was quite scary. But,
Does this all not come back to a basic fundamental that we do not do enough to train people before they get an engine, a car, a motorbike, anything with an engine? We do not make people take strong enough tests, road signs, the basics of being on a road. But you can't go and get a gun, and yet a lot of these guys are driving about in things that are more dangerous than a gun probably is. I think it's just crazy, and I know you guys have discussed this time and time again, and I know that we're never ever going to put it right, but from a guy like myself that used to be a driving instructor, it is just so infuriating to see how much bad driving there is out there. And for me, HGV drivers, I always thought were some of the best because of the training that they went through. But I think even they're getting, one flash of their indicator, and that gives everybody the right just to pull out, whether you're in a car or on a bike.
Yeah. I wonder what sent you, Gray. I didn't realise you used to be a driving instructor.
Oh, I've done all sorts of shit, mate. Yeah, driving instructor, qualified motor mechanic, building trade. How I ended up managing a golf club, I don't really know. But there you go.
Yeah, I think the lack of instruction comes down to a lack of work ethic, because a lot of the instructors that are out there now are, the younger folk that, they could teach you all this stuff, but that means that they have to work for their money. They just want to get their money and go. So they'll give you the basics because they're required to, and send you on your way. That's the issue.
So does this kind of mean that the guys that are teaching don't give a monkeys? Because that kind of works, doesn't it? If the guys that are doing the teaching don't give a monkeys, why should the people that are being taught? That's whether you're in. I mean, did I take much notice of history when I was at school? No. Did I want to know what Henry VIII done? Didn't really give a monkeys. I wanted to go out and play football. So you kind of listen to the things that are of interest to you. And I think that driving does not, or riding, does not interest a lot of people. It's just a means of getting from A to B, and that's it.
I think a lot of driving instructors now, they tend to teach people how to pass a test, not how to drive.
I agree.
That was the case when I passed my test, and I was 17 when I passed. And my driving instructor said to me, which was great back then, he said, "Now you passed your test, don't ever drive like that again because it's not safe." And you know that was the case. But I think one of the things nowadays is any common sense test. I mean, you've got your road signs and stuff, but I think there needs to be an element of common sense and some sort of test for that. I don't know how you're going to test for that, but the thing is, there are so many people passing tests these days. They just follow the same old rigmarole that this how to pass your test, but then no common sense once they get on the road. And
is that not life for youngsters these days? Is that not life? How many? I mean, I interview people for jobs and things like that, and it's a classic. I had a CV come through the other day, and this guy is applying for, not a high-powered job, but he's going to have some responsibility. And one of the questions was, I said to him, I said, "Can you give me an example of how you've gone the extra mile?" Now, you're going to love this. This guy sat there, and as God is my witness, he said, "Yes, I can give you a good example of that." He said, "I was driving up the A14 and I missed my exit, so I had to go the extra mile to the next exit." I'm sitting there as a manager, and I said to him, "Are you fucking pulling my pisser or what?" And he looked at me as if I was an alien. I mean, and this is a 23-year-old applying for a job.
Wow.
He didn't get it.
No, obviously. Sometimes it amazes me that some people actually know how to feed themselves. They're still alive.
I say it all the time. Humans are the stupidest people.
Yeah.
Really are.
You know me so well.
Going back to the driving instructor thing, I was over in Ireland for a couple of years, and we actually got briefed that
You've got an excuse then.
a few, not a few years ago, about 20, 30 years ago or something, because they had such a backlog of people wanting to get their license. They actually just gave people the license without any sort of test or anything. And now that generation are the ones teaching the new guys.
Well, the thing is, what my brother did his bike test to be, 25, 30 years ago, and obviously now your bike test is, they call the pursuit test. You're riding a bike, the tester's behind you with your bike-to-bike intercom. When he did the test, it was a case of the examiner's there with a tick board in his hand, and he said, "Drive down the road, turn left," and he'd leap out at strategic points, watch you for 100 yards, and mark you. So what you did at all the times he couldn't see you didn't really matter. As long as you were riding okay in the 100 yards that he could see you, you were passed.
Yeah, you talked about my test there. Exactly what I had to do. Just ride round the block, and he jumped out for an emergency stop, and that was it.
Yeah. You meant to stop. You meant to stop, Andy, not run over the bugger.
They did say a lot of people did run him over. Yeah, that was even bike test. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, that was the same for me. I remember taking my test. It was on my RD125 twin, and I distinctly remember there was a blind spot that he couldn't see me every time I did a lap, and every time I went under this bridge, I was on the back wheel, but and I still passed my test. It was like hilarious, But that's how it was back in the day.
Yeah.
I have a clipboard, stood on a roundabout on a patch of grass. But yeah, I want you to go around again, and you just used to do your massive exaggerated shoulder check. I stay there. And then on the back wheel.
Looking for him.
There it is.
The good old days, then.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I think in terms of the whole thing, like common sense needs to be a factor, and you say that someone mentioned about giving away licenses in Ireland and stuff. And of course, there is the other problem as well, where people take tests for other people, and then they get a license to drive. And I distinctly remember, I'll never forget, when I was taking my test for driving a car. I was in the driving instructor's car, and you know when you do your bit, and then someone else gets in, and part of their lesson is to take you back home.
Oh, that's horrible, that.
Oh my God! This woman, right? Got in the car, and I got in the back seat, and we go, oh, we need to get some fuel. She went to this petrol station. She went over the little islands where the petrol pumps are. She nearly took out a petrol pump. She went up the curb 4 times. She nearly totaled it round a roundabout. And then the best was when I finally made it back, and I'll tell you what, I'd never get in that car again so long as I live. This woman had already passed her test and was having a refresher. I kid you not. That is God's honest truth. Around my kid's life, and I thought I was going to die. She's quite capable of being able to drive, according to the law, on any public road at any time, unassisted. Oh my God.
When you say refresher, is that one of those little sweets she was sucking?
Well, I think maybe she had one of those, maybe she would have been a bit more alert. I don't know, but the thing is, she just couldn't drive for toffee, but she had a license.
She was stuck in toffee.
And I only found out because when he went into the petrol, and I'm like, you know, still got white knuckles, and the instructor goes into the petrol station to pay, and I said, wow, you know, it's like, wow, you know, what can you say? And she goes, oh, I wasn't expecting to hit that petrol pump, but you know, I'm only doing this to get a refresher because I've not driven for so long and I've already passed my test. I'm like, yes!
Did it leap out?
I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you, and that's why, you know, ride invisible, because there's people like that on the road legally.
We see them every day. We all see them every day, Andy.
I know, man. I tell you, fucking hell.
I'm surprised you didn't get out of the car right then and flag a taxi.
Totally considering, I'll tell you. The thing is, it was a dual control car, so I had every faith, well not every faith, but a fair amount of faith that if she actually did try to kill us, the instructor would have taken control of the car. Jeez. But there you go. And she's legal and out there now, probably killing people.
Psycho killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
What part of the country is that?
That was in Wiltshire, in Swindon. That's where I took the test.
I used to live in Swindon.
Did you?
Well, yeah. I had 2 years up there after moving up from Dorset, before we moved up here. The trouble is, you know, with the job I do, if you change jobs, it's very unlikely you're going to stay in the same county. So I've been in Surrey, Hampshire, Dorset, Wiltshire, and Suffolk. And I've got to say, Andy, Suffolk's definitely the best.
Oh, good.
I would say,
I'm only saying that because it's a big bugger.
Right. Okay. Let's attack the Q&A. It's been there for a while, and then we've got time for one more topic probably before we have to go off air. Now then, Yorkshire Biker says, can't get in. We'll finish editing. Yeah, I think we actually are fully loaded right now, mate.
no, we're not. We're not.
We're not.
No.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not. I'm going. I've got to go to bed.
What? You're going to bed?
I've got to go to bed. I'm up at 6 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Unlike all y'all, I'm working tomorrow.
You actually look like you've just got up, Tosh.
Oh, thanks, mate. I've already done 12 hours work today. Cheeky bastard. Anyway.
I've got a question for Tosh. Are you actually a bike mechanic? Or are you just learning a lot, helping out Mr. Calm?
No, I'm self-taught.
Oh, okay.
Good for a giggle. I ain't no mechanic. I'm just a cleaner.
He's good with an air compressor though, isn't he?
Anyway, I'm going. I've got to go. I'm absolutely shagged. Listen, I'll see you all next week. Ride safe. Ride your wife. Ta-da.
Or somebody else's.
Right, your life, not someone else's.
See you, Tosh.
Cheers, buddy. Right. Well, Tosh goes and finds his slippers. Let's go back to the Q&A. Well, Scott says, in English, it's Blackadder. Well, apparently, it's a little bit more than that, actually.
I love that show. Blackadder.
Yes, the Black Snake. Right. Now then, oh wait, right, that's been up there for a while, so let's go straight into that one. And he says, topic for later, and tell me now, it's definitely later. He says, the NC750X DCT, I'm sure this come up before. We're talking about the Honda now, aren't we? And he says, costs $6,899 in the UK. With the current exchange rate, with the euro, you can buy the same bike for $5,900 in Germany. A BMW 650 GT costs $10,000 in the UK, but you can get the bike at $2K less in Germany. Would you? As in, would you bring the bike back as an import? Well, I'll tell you what, let's throw it open to the panel first of all. Does anyone want to take on those comments in terms of bringing an import back to the UK?
What?
How much would it cost to do that?
I think you drive it.
But it's still going to be a cost to get out there. Overnight accommodation, ride back, ferries, and all that other stuff.
150 quid?
Oh. You obviously stay in really cheap hotels.
Well, if I'm just going to go and pick up a bike, I'm not going to stay in a Ritz just for a night to pick up a bike. And then you've got all those looks that you get when you go in a really posh hotel with all your levers on. They're like, oh, bloody riff-raff in here.
Just think though, you've got to do all them miles whilst running your bike in.
Yeah, by the time they get back to the UK, it's running, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then you'd have to re-register in Britain as well.
There we go.
Which is not a lot, because when I imported my old Virago that I got rid of now, that came from Arizona, America, and when I got it over here, yeah, when I got it over here, it cost me 60. I think I paid 60 quid to re-register here, and that was all it was. Yeah.
Now, what about emissions, though? If you have, if you get the bike from Germany and you bring it back over to UK, aren't they going to have you have it tested for emissions and that sort of stuff? Do you have to do any updates
You have
to it?
to get an MOT for register.
Yes, you do. I had to get the Virago MOT'd, and then when I had the import license and the MOT, I took it down, and it just went through within a week.
Yeah, but a brand new bike.
Taxed on that?
Brand new bike doesn't have that problem. As soon as it enters, you pay £85, I think it is, to have it plated. UK plates, and then you fall back into normal standards for your 3 years.
Of course, you've got to do something about the lights as well.
Yeah.
Will it be full UK spec, or as you say, you're going to have to change headlight units and things like that?
Is there a difference in insurance? Did you have to pay more insurance, Andy?
No, I didn't. That was just as cheap as anything else. But like with the specs, that had the indicators on the front were always on. They never turned off unless
Which one?
Both of them were on permanently, but when you indicated, they would wink, But all the time they're on. And I said to the MOT bloke, "Is this all right?" And he said, "Yeah, fine," and didn't bother about it. Yeah.
The only problem you have, as far as I'm aware, is like the cars. If you do with a car, when you come to insure it, they class it as a grey import because it hasn't been imported through the legal, the proper things. I mean, let's face it, any foreign car or bike is an import, isn't it? But when it comes to a bike, for some reason, that grey import thing don't exist. You can import. So this is why a lot of them disappeared over to Ireland a few years ago, and they were buying bikes from Ireland.
Have you got a skull cap on, Skeggy?
No, buddy. Not tonight.
There's a lot of guys that I've seen in the army over in Germany, and the whole reason why they want to go over there is so they can get a nice BMW or Audi dirt cheap and bring it over here. So the companies over there actually sell them the UK spec ones, but the German plate.
Well, that used to be a big thing. I mean, I'm talking about 10, 15 years ago. There was the big thing about people buying from the EU direct from Germany, France, and what have you. Because, again, like this, they were a few grand cheaper, and that just seems to have fizzled out. So, obviously, there's not as much money in it anymore. Because there's a load of Opel badged, well, Astras and equivalents rather than the Vauxhall badge, because they were all buying them in Europe.
I think there are some there's more rules now because you can only buy so many. Because I heard a couple of guys over in Germany got in trouble because they were getting the giving the privates the money to go and buy the cars and then register them, whatever, and then selling them back to the UK. They got in trouble for that.
It doesn't bode too well, does it, when we have right-hand drive cars and we can't get the numpties to look in the mirrors anyway, and now we're going to put them in a left-hand drive car. Which bloody mirror are they going to look in? They
do sell a bit right-hand drive.
You know, that takes a bit more than common sense to know which way to look now.
Like I said, they will sell you a UK spec one, so right-hand drive car.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously that doesn't affect bike riders, so because it's sort of the same side.
Yeah. But they'll sell the UK spec bikes with the lights and stuff. So.
Yeah,
that's one thing I'm glad about. I'm glad that if you went to Europe and bought a European spec bike, they didn't do like the old British bikes and have your gears and the rear brake swapped over.
Yeah, it's like just going to change gear. Oh, bloody hell, what's going on here?
I've rode some old British bikes that have been like that, and you soon get used to it.
That's an interesting thing, though, isn't it? Of course, the all bikes have always had the same controls on the same side. There's no difference, but of course, when it comes to cars, there is. And I guess that's down to the fact of viewing on which lane you drive.
Andy,
Not always.
I'm sorry, buddy, but you're wrong.
Yeah, it hasn't always been the same.
No, British bikes at one time of day, your gear change was on the right-hand side.
Oh, it was on the right-hand side for gear change.
Yeah.
Some of the old Beezers, the old Velocet. And also the Indian had the accelerator on the left at one time.
Yes, it did.
I'll agree.
Wow.
I'll agree.
And so that was so that the police force could shoot the pistols or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, the 19. I think it was 42s. I think they standardized it and then they ended up changing it again anyway. But yeah, they had it completely reversed.
I mean, they still do it with some cars, that some cars have your indicators on the left, some have them on the right, and it's when you're not used to it, somebody pulls out in front of you and you furiously wash your windows at them.
I did it the other day. I went to indicate to pull off the end of the drive in the missus's car, and because I'm used to driving my car, not hers, all of a sudden the wipers come on, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, wrong one.
We all do it, mate.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
What you said about common sense?
I have none. I hate to say it, guys, but I've actually got to leave a little bit early because I've got to make a stop before I pick up my kids. But it has been an absolute pleasure getting to talk to everyone again. And, some of you guys, hopefully I'll see you on Tuesday night, but I'll definitely be back next Thursday.
See you later, Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby has a live hangout on a Tuesday. Go and check him out as well. And Bobby, it's great to see you again, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Most definitely, guys. Keep the wheels on the road, and see you guys next time.
Yeah.
See you, mate.
And then there was 8. So there's definitely room for one more. If who was it was trying to get in now? I can't remember.
I see 08 Rides put in the Q&A there. He says a brand new bike needs a certificate of conformity. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring that up now. He says brand new bike needs a certificate of conformity from the manufacturer. No MOT, brand new, and it's full standard European spec. No changes to UK standards. I mean, the thing is that back in the old school days, of course, there was the issue around like the speedo and stuff like that. That was in kilometers an hour rather than miles per hour and all that stuff. But excuse me, with new bikes now, of course, it's all digital, so you can switch over from kilometers to miles per hour, so that reduces a lot of the hassle. But also there was the insurance hit that you used to get on imports as well on the older bikes, in my memory anyway. And some insurance companies won't even insure an import, I think is the case in the UK, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's a good idea. If you're going to import, certainly ring an insurance company first.
Yeah. Yeah.
I must admit, I had no trouble, Andy, insuring the Virago at all. They just took it straight away and insured it. No problem on that one.
Yeah, I think it's a case if you can get lucky, but quite often you'll see vehicles, not just bikes but cars as well, on eBay, and they might be a little bit cheaper. And when you look a little bit further into it, you'll find that they're an import, and that's why they are, because there's a lot of hassle involved in getting them UK approved, because they have to go through extra tests sometimes without getting down into the detail. So Jason, hi Jason, he says also, along the lines of these Honda NC 750X DCT, which is dual clutch control in Australia, you can't get them, apparently. You can only get the 750 Mega Scooter version of it. I don't know what the Mega Scooter... Is there such thing as a Mega Scooter?
I don't... Oh, yeah, no. It just sounds wrong, doesn't it?
But anyway, yeah, I mean, they're automatic motorbikes, and not for me anyway. I have ridden one, and it's the only bike I've ever ridden with a handbrake, which is like really weird. But anyway, yeah, it's
Can you do handbrake turns?
No, well, it locks. It's on a ratchet, so when you probably not advisable. But yeah, they
handbrake tumbles.
Yeah, it's not a bike of choice for me, to be honest. Any other bike about importing possibly, but probably not a Honda NC 750X DCT would I bother to import the UK.
Are these the Hondas that do about 80 miles to the gallon? They're absolutely fantastic, aren't they, on petrol? Is this the one without, like you lift up the top of the tank, and it's not a tank, you put your crash helmet in there?
That's right, yeah. The tank area is for your crash helmet, and under the seat is the petrol tank, that's right.
Yeah, but they're apparently really good on fuel. The guy that, when I took my test, he just bought one, and he was getting silly mileage out of it. But he said it was a bit sort of gutless, not a lot of torque to them, but ideal for what he was doing, you know, following learners about kind of thing.
Yeah, I rode one. Unfortunately, I lost the footage because in my Great Delete event that I had when I was doing bike reviews, and more will be coming soon. But to be honest, out of the Hondas, I rode the VFR 800, which I actually got out. The 650 and the dual clutch control, and out of the three bikes, the dual clutch control was the best bike in terms of grip factor, even though it was automatic and everything else, because you know Honda, they make, I don't want to go off on a tangent now, but Honda make great bikes, and they're like really great, and they do everything they need to do. But there's no excitement. But out of all of the ones that I rode, the dual clutch control one was the one that surprised me the most. And I didn't have a clutch lever, and I didn't have a gear pedal. But there we go. But anyway, yeah, I still wouldn't buy one though. But there we go. So yeah. Rise says, yeah, if we go back to the going and getting your imports, he says £50 flight, £100 import. European tour holiday, and would be paying for that anyway. Flat beams and digital dash mean no need for changes. Yeah, so yeah, as I was saying, with the digital dashboards and everything else, there's not as much conversion going on now. It's the older imports with the analog stuff that tend to get a bit expensive and pricey. He also says the scooter is the Integra. I'm not familiar with that bike.
Yeah, I think Big Kev has just put a picture up of it. I just had a look at it. I couldn't see myself on one of them, I must admit.
I'll put it up.
Oh, God.
It's just the
I can see you on one though, Andy.
No, mate. No. No.
Kev, I missed that.
My biking days would be over.
I can see you turning up at a Sam evening on that.
No. That's horrible. I had a look at that.
The picture. I missed that.
Can you put it up?
In the chat.
Okay, put it back up again. Oh, is it in the text?
In the chat.
Oh, right. I thought he was going to share screen it. Let's have a look. Hang on. Let's find it.
In the side chat.
I'll find it. I'll load it up and I'll share it so the viewers can see what on earth we are talking about.
I can't see myself on one.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, that's a monstrosity.
I didn't think I'd ever say this, but I think the Bergman's the better option.
Right, I'll just share my screen on that one.
That is horrible.
What
It's ugly, isn't it?
is that? What?
What's the side vents for on the front?
That's what you're shooting.
Well, I'm guessing it's not air induction.
No, it must be to let the airflow through your mangina.
Is that bit on the seat a whoopee cushion? In the middle there, is that a whoopee cushion?
That's to stop you flying off the back with all the G-force.
Yeah, it's to stop you flying off the back of the bike with the force. My word, that is a terrible, terrible bike.
It's an ugly thing, isn't it?
But you'll see the
Is that the
people
right word you're using there, Andy? Bike?
you'll see the people that can't shift gears using them though.
Did you see the two bolts on the back for the stabilisers?
What? Yeah, yeah, I can see them now. Yeah. Wow.
Training wheel.
Yeah, yeah, brilliant. Probably not for this channel, to be honest.
Can I ask the panel a question?
Of course you can.
BMWs, not cars, bikes. Views on them?
What,
I don't mean these bloody square four things.
Is that the one from the coil or not?
I'm talking about the 800 GT, the new 800 GT.
Right, well, I'll throw it to the panel. I just need to go to the boys' room a second.
We've got an F800 GT as part of the Blood Bike fleet. It's not bad. Not a lot of wind protection.
You're not convincing me.
No, I have a 1200 RT of my own bike. We have 1200 RTs as well in the fleet. But yeah, we've got a couple of F8. I think we've got one ST and two GTs. Not a lot of wind protection on them. They're all right for short trips, but I really wouldn't want to spend long trips on them, to be honest.
Engine reliability is good?
Yes, I think it has been quite reliable. I think the only problem we had was the stone got into the belt at one point, so we had to remove the belt. But other than that, I don't really think it's had too much of an issue with them. Still under warranty, really. So
Surely wind protection just slows you down, doesn't it?
yeah, but I suppose when we're out in the middle of the night, you could use all you can get. The only problem we were looking for the winter getting some of the the old hand guards, and they don't do them. But if you're out in the middle of the night on one of them, your hands do get very cold, even with the heater grips on full blast.
You need to get your hand in a muff, mate.
Wait.
Have you noticed it's all gone downhill since Skeggy joined?
You blame me.
How's the weather up there, mate?
Today's been bloody gorgeous. Yeah, today's been gorgeous. Bit nippy, but sun was shining and roads were dry, so I was happy.
What was it like tomorrow?
Tomorrow's terrible.
Terrible.
Oh, I don't want to face tomorrow again.
I'm riding down to Dorset tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to rain all day.
Yeah. He's down for 90%
I
rain.
can get Carl Barker to trail behind you.
Yeah, that's going to be good fun, isn't it? 2 up.
Suffolk Andy, I'm going to give you a little shout out in my next video at the start of it, because I was going into the bank today.
Yeah.
And I thought about your little episode in the bank, and I commented on it. So you'll see that in the next video.
Yeah, that was quite interesting to see some of the replies, the different replies from like English or British people and American people, you know. And they were saying, one or two American people were saying that he wouldn't have come off good with that one.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing. I mean, I don't know, you just dig yourself a hole sometimes that you can't get out of, because I don't know, you're going to get the ladder taken away from you and smashed over your head.
I missed that, Andy. You started robbing banks again?
Yeah. Yeah, going back to my old profession, mate.
I tell you what, I mean...
Obviously more lucrative.
Oh, well, I was trying to work out in that video of yours, Andy, whether the guy was just thick as shit or very, very brave.
I don't know. I really don't know. He never said a word to me. He never said a word to the bank teller. And when I threatened him, he never even said a word. He did look at me once, but I must admit, when I think about it now, looking at him, I think he didn't look the sort of person who'd be any match for me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But
Was his pupils fixed?
he just didn't say a word, mate. Every time I spoke to him, he never said a word, even though I was angry. He didn't say a word. But I don't know. I really don't know. He didn't look. Well, I don't know what he was. I don't know. I really don't know.
Did his eyes look like he'd had a bit of the ganja?
No, he didn't. He didn't look like a druggie. He didn't look like anybody who was special. You know, he just looked like a regular guy. I just couldn't work it out. But you know, looking at him, I really think, you know, if I had a go at him, I think I would have stood on his head until the blood come out. You know what I mean? But I just say this: if he goes around doing that to everybody else, he's going to get seriously fucked up by somebody. You know what I mean?
He's gonna do it to the wrong person at the wrong time. Somebody's gonna put him in his place, and he'll think about it next time, probably.
Yeah, he's the only thing that saved him is I'm not a violent person anyway, and you know I've got one rule in life really. You know, put hands on me, and you know I don't put hands on other people. I don't expect that people to put hands on me. But he was a lucky boy that day because you know I'm not violent and. But if he'd have hurt me, you know, I probably would have fucked him over, you know. But he didn't hurt me, you know.
That's the other thing, that if I see somebody else dick somebody else over, I'm going to step in their part, you know. I'm not going to let that go on in my company, because that could go on in somebody else's company that they won't defend themselves from.
Mm.
Yeah. That's strange, Andy, because you actually do look a violent person.
I just couldn't work out why he would do it, you know, why he done it. But I think the shock of it was another thing, really. You know, I'm standing there 1 minute and then being thrown over the next minute, you know. But
then he turns his back to you to talk to the teller. That's when I would have went right around his neck.
I did threaten him at that point, but he never said a word. He never said a word, and I did threaten him. And that's when the young lady in the bank came over and got hold of my arm and pulled me sort of, you know, out of the way. So,
well, the lady behind the teller should have, like, refused service. Like, we're not going to serve you because that's the kind of dickhead you are being right now. So you need to leave, or we can call cops and they can escort you out the building.
They didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that I missed part of that conversation, but I hope it wasn't during when you was trying to buy that broccoli.
No, it weren't the broccoli. I'll keep an eye open for that one then, mate.
Yeah, which is brilliant. Right, okay, it's come to that time when we need to say good night to the viewers because we're going to go off air and talk about stuff real, you know, and not lie anymore that we have been doing all the way through this and how much we love the laws of the road. But before I do that, I'm just going to quickly go through the Q&A. And Jason, who sent us the link to that lovely Yamaha T-Max 750cc monstrosity, he says, yep, that's it. Horrible, ain't it? Yes, it is. Yep, I couldn't see anyone riding that anyway that had any sort of biker sense about them at all. And I need to say hello to Light Up 550.
Hello,
hey,
mate.
dude, how you doing? If you want a link, mate, just send us, or I'll send you a link anyway if you want to join us for the after party chat. And I'll send you a link, buddy. So it's good to have you along. And also, 08 Ride says, at my local dealer, I saw an old adventure bike with its own DIY hangar. That definitely says hangars, made out of plastic. 2 litre balls. Look, crap, but probably did a great job.
I shall make the suggestion.
I think he's milked that story to death.
So right, isn't it, eh? Right. Anyway, so yeah, so what a way to end. So that's fantastic. Yeah. I never thought actually that's not a bad idea though. Handguards made out of milk cartons if you're going to go off-roading, of course. But anyway,
I done it once. The trouble is there was cardboard milk cartons. Don't work quite as good.
yeah, we know Grey Viper was the one that put the little cards in the spokes so they make out flat noise to move.
I used to do that on a push bike.
You have to do that on electric bikes.
They don't last too long on the Tiger, I've got to say.
Yeah, I know. Got your number.
Well, you need a bit of milk bottle. It does the job perfect on them. I haven't got a loud exhaust. It's literally bits of milk bottle plastic just in the spokes.
Right. Okay, if you're riding a motorbike and you need to put anything in your spokes to make it sound louder, you need to upgrade your exhaust. Okay? Right.
Check with your insurance company first.
Your specification.
It might be one of the 5 mods you're allowed.
Brilliant. Okay, so we need to close it down because we need to go off air. I'd like to get these down to 2 hours if we can. So, only remains for me to say to the Yorkshire Biker 93, later guys, keep it sticky side downright safe. Oh, here's Mrs.
Oh, Mrs. Boy.
Mrs. Boy.
Mrs. Boy.
Mrs. Boy.
Good night, everybody.
Wow, you're looking a bit pale. You're looking a bit pale. Anyway, that means I'm in trouble later. Anyway, don't worry about that. It's time to go through the panel and let everyone say goodnight tonight. And I'm going to start with Gazatron.
Laters.
Ah, he's so cool and restrained. Let's go across the Grey Viper then.
What's up, dude? As always, very entertaining.
Brilliant. Kevin, Big Kev.
Good night, you.
Brilliant. Cheers, Kev. Skiggy.
Well, I've got to say, sorry for joining you late, people, but I've enjoyed the time I have been here, and it was nice not to be asked if I'd got any news or topic. So I'll try and think about for next Thursday. Meanwhile, thanks for having me. Ride safe.
Cheers, Skiggy. Stealth Rider, would you like to say goodbye, buddy?
One word. America.
America!
America!
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mrs. B's, I think Mrs. B's had too much to drink. She's flashing parts of her body right out of shot right now. But anyway, let's move on.
Get it in shot.
No, let's move on. Southern Andy, would you like to say goodbye?
Yeah, good night, everybody. It's been a good evening. Nice to meet you all again. But as I always give you a word of advice before we go.
Right.
If you're a lazy person, don't use your bike to take your dog for a walk, because when you get back, there'll be fuck all left.
Good
pause on that
sacrifice
one.
there. I've seen many a Yorkshire Terrier carnage when you get into third gear at 80 miles an hour. Right, excellent. Let's go across to Biker.
Yeah, brilliant, guys. My first one, and I suppose depending on how well I score on the dickhead scale, whether I'll be back for another one.
Nowhere near high enough, I'm afraid, buddy, so you're going to have to come back again.
Oh, damn.
Oh, no, it's a shame. Right, and that only leaves it for me then to say thank you very much for everyone in the panel for coming along, and Bobby as well that had to leave us sooner, and Tosh, of course, he had to get some sleep. He needs that beauty sleep, you know. But yeah, it's been fantastic. I enjoy everyone, I love everyone, and thank you for watching. And don't forget to ride safe and ride invisible.
I already do that.
Okay, love you, bye.
That was a quick 2